Hello, this is Monica Sawyer. Welcome to Real Estate Investing for Women, where we focus on all aspects of real estate investing, including strategies, mindset, emotional mastery, money smarts, and so much more to ensure your success. If you'd like to learn my personal favorite investing strategy, just go to blissfulinvestor.com. You can also listen to this episode on the Real Estate Investing for Women podcast on iTunes. Now, let's welcome our guest. Did you know you may have money right under your nose to invest, but you just don't know how to utilize it? If you have an IRA, rollover 401k, SEP IRA, or any other retirement plan, you probably have enough money to start your investing business today and save for your future. How? By using a self-directed IRA. There are many kinds of accounts that companies like to call their self-directed IRAs, but most of them only allow you to invest in stock and mutual funds. A true self-directed IRA, like the ones you can get at UDirect IRA, allow you to invest in all kinds of assets, including real estate. It's called UDirect because you decide where you invest your money. And the most exciting thing about investing in real estate in a self-directed IRA is then you get to take advantage of incoming rental income and appreciation, all completely tax-free. If you want to find out more about this amazing vehicle for growing your wealth and investing in real estate, contact UDirect IRA at www.u, and that's the letter U, udirectira.com, or call them at 866-447-6598. Today, I am so excited to welcome to our show our guest, Suzanne Johns. Suzanne began her career in commercial and investment real estate just out of college and has been a professional realtor since 1978. She loves what she does and can honestly say she hasn't worked a day in her life. She has been married to her soulmate, aka husband, and best friend for 35 years, has a terrific 34-year-old son and a kooky 12-year-old poodle. They love spending time relaxing with family and friends on the lake every spring and summer weekend. In business, her clients can rely on her expertise in her field and the amount of research she does in order to find their perfect fit to achieve their investment goals. Hey there, Suzanne. How are you?
Hi.
Show.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. It's been so just the audience, so you know, ladies, Suzanne and I were supposed to record a couple of weeks ago. Things didn't kind of work out because of tech issues. And so here we are, and I got to put together her bio and everything back then. So seriously, I have just been like chomping at the bit for this conversation. So
Okay.
I'm so excited. So, Suzanne, tell us how you actually got started investing in real estate. I know it was a long time ago and the world was different then, right?
Yeah, I didn't get started investing myself first. I got into the business, and it was purely by accident.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to college out at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, there in California.
Mm-hmm.
Gorgeous place. I was supposed to be a school teacher, and I have a teaching degree. The last 2 months of my senior year, a friend of mine said, "Hey, I want to go to this real estate seminar. Would you come along?" And I'm like, "No, why?" She goes, "Well, but a bunch of guys are going to be there, and we're going to go to the bar after. And if you'll come to the seminar, we can all go to the bar." And I went, "Okay, I'll go. That's it. I'm in.
The true
Color me there.
motivation.
No problem." So I went, and I sat there for 2 hours, and everything the man said resonated with me. And it suddenly dawned on me that this is my DNA. This is what I need to be doing, because everything was just, it was very impactful for me. And so I asked the man how I could get involved. He said, "Well, you got to get a license." And I went, "No, okay, well, I can do that." And so I took classes. I took my exam. I got my broker's license after that. And I said, "Well, now what do I do? I have to sell something, right?" And he goes, "Well, yes, you do." And I said, "Well, I don't know how to do that." So he said, "Well, I have a mentor, and she happened to be a commercial construction or commercial agent there in town. She was a broker." He said, "I bet she'll help you." And so she agreed to let me come on, and she gave me my first client. And I took him out to look at apartments. And the first thing I did was pick the apartment that I lived in. So I knew everybody there. I was able to show him the people floor plans, talking to the maintenance people, talk to the management people, and went back. And then, when we get there, I didn't know to ask for the sale. I didn't know, are you supposed to actually do that? So after got back as well, thank you very much, shook his hand, wished him well, hope you have a nice day. And off they went. And about 20 minutes later, he comes back and he goes, would you mind if we bought that one that you showed us? And I went, oh, okay. Sure. Okay.
Why not?
Now what do I do? I go into my broker's office. I'm like, oh my gosh, he wants to buy it. What do I do now? And she goes, well, you sell it to him. I'm like, yeah, I don't know how to do that either. So, oh my God, I have to fill out a contract. Are you serious? So I went back next door to the title company and said, I don't know how to do this. Could you help me? And they said, sure, bring him in. They did the contract for me, and we closed the thing in like 21 days. And I got my first sale under my belt. And I know, when you're young, you're dumb. And I didn't even know what you were supposed to make as far as real estate commission was concerned. But I was hoping that I would at least make enough to make my car payment for the year. That was my big plan. And my car payment was like $287.
For the whole year?
Yeah. Per month for the year. And so I was hoping I could just do that. Oh my gosh, that's the best thing. That's life changing. And so I went to the title company. They handed me my check in an envelope. I went out to my car and opened it up. And I went, it was for $45,000. Well, wow. I didn't know to make 3%, come on. So I immediately put it back in the envelope, ran back into the title company and went, I think you gave me somebody else's check because this looks like it's really wrong and I don't want to get in trouble for cashing the wrong check. And the girl goes, really? She opens it up and she goes, oh no, honey, that's your commission. And I went, oh, I'm doing this forever. Oh my God, I'm doing this forever. And that was my start in the real estate business. So it was, one of those things. It was just meant to be. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Thank God for that. And I'm quite sure he was the one in charge of that. And then it kind of, moved on from there. And I've been through every real estate market there is. There's tons and tons of ups and downs. And, I've weathered them all, including 2008. And with each turn and downturn, I learned a new segment of the business just because, you got to have something to be able to stay alive. And that's the only way you can do it, is to be, to have some way that you can perpetuate yourself and to continue on. So that's kind of how it's all evolved.
Mm-hmm. So when did you actually start investing?
I started investing myself. We started buying little rent houses, and we would buy and hold. There was no such thing called a flipper back then. We're talking about back in the 70s and 80s. Nobody knew what that was. They didn't have HDTV, all of that. And so we were buying and holding, and that way we would buy something, it wasn't necessarily we're buying at the bottom, level. We were just buying a nice house and then waiting for it to appreciate in a couple of years and then selling it off and using that equity. And then we started noticing that since we were pulling out that equity, we were getting taxed a lot more, which that was unacceptable, in my opinion. So I talked to a CPA friend of mine, and he said, well, you should get educated on 1031 exchange so that you'll know how to pull that capital gain out and then not get taxed on it in what's called a taxable event. And I went, yes, I need to know all about that. So I became certified as a 1031 tax-free exchange specialist. And you don't use that 1031 on your first purchase, but it's used on every other purchase after that. And there's a lot of different rules that goes with the 1031, and you have to understand what those are. And they have to be like for like. They have to have, and they all have to be investment properties, but it can be other types of investment properties. So as long as it's income producing, it will qualify as a 1031. So I can take money from a personal residential, and I can put it into like a dry cleaner. Because they're both income producing, I can still then make that, as far as IRS is concerned, a workable arrangement for a 1031. And then you just take, and you're pulling, each time you sell, you pull that equity, put it into something else, and it has to be either something that's level or something that's higher than what you've already had. As soon as you downsize, then that's called boot, which is, if you want to really get into the weeds and the details, that's when you have a taxable event.
So, Ashley, I have a question around this. So,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, for instance, I sell a place in California that's $600,000, and I've got
Right.
tax free. So, I've got 600,000, and I want to buy 10 places in Tennessee for 100,000. Can I do that as a 1031?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So it's still equal, even though I've got smaller properties, but it's the same amount of equity.
Right. You're still using that money to get into those others. And and more than likely you're going to get a mortgage against them. So you don't have to buy 10 or six $100,000 pieces, because you're going to have a mortgage involved, and you're going to be able to, so you may be able to buy even more, because the mortgage counts. It doesn't have to count against your capital gain.
Got it. I had someone on my show that recommended that, and I got several people saying, I didn't think you could do that. It had to be similar or better. And I was like, no, I think you can do it. So
no, you can do
that. Yeah. Awesome. So do you actually do that as part of your business, is 1031 advising and stuff like that?
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So actually, that's an amazing resource, ladies. I didn't know that she was going to offer that. But just know that I get a lot of questions about 1031. I am far from being an expert because I hold everything. So if you want to find information about 1031 exchange, Suzanne Johns might be a person to talk to. And I'll give you how to reach her in a little bit, as you guys all know. So, but just keep that in mind. So thank you for that.
No problem.
So talk about this, you don't know what you don't know.
It really has to do with it. Since I've been in the business for so long, and that dates me, I guess, but I've been in for 42 years, there's different types of properties and different types of investments. And the first thing that I always do is I sit down with a client or potential client and ask them what their comfort levels are and what they feel like they might have an interest in. So if you're looking for something that's going to spin off cash, that's exactly what you're looking for. I have a lot of older 50 plus people. Let's qualify 50 plus people that are looking for something that's going to now replace that W-2 income that they had.
Right.
And it's still going to spin off enough money that they're going to have everything to pay their mortgage and their bills. And that's what they're really looking for, is something to spin that out. But obviously that's going to be taxed, because you're spinning off cash. It's income, but still it's an investment that you will be able to sell in the future that will still appreciate, and you'll make the money off that appreciation that we'll put into another 1031. But the other thing it'll do is give you a spin-off cash. And so your spin-off cash deals that I'm very successful with here in Dallas, and I don't know where y'all are, and I can't imagine that would be that much different, is car washes. And you would never even think about that. A nice drive-through spin brush car wash with some vacuum stations, and you have very few people that you're going to employ, like maybe 4 to 6, and it's going to spin off $100,000 a year for you.
Wow,
that's not bad income.
And what kind of investment does that require?
That's $1 million.
Wow,
that's not bad.
That's not bad.
$100,000. Mm-hmm. So that's very, very doable. If you don't mind having more of more people that work for you, so you're going to have a workforce, then a dry cleaner is huge in spinning off cash. I don't know if you realize that when somebody let's say you take a shirt in or a blouse or whatever, and you pay $4.50 to get it dry cleaned, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it really costs them 75 cents. So we're talking about an incredible amount of money that's spin off cash.
Got it.
So then, but you also have to be a little bit, you either have to have a manager on site, or you have to be willing to be a manager yourself to be able to manage those things, because it does require more involvement when you get involved with a dry cleaner.
Of course.
The other thing you can always get involved are fast food chains, which are franchises, and those also have pretty good spin off cash. But you still have to be involved. But, there's a lot of people that have business managers that handle that. And so that's just part of the discussion that we have. If you strictly like residential, then I put you into duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, up to 16 plexes. And then you've got a property manager that we hire that handles that. You don't get any calls for, broken toilets and leaky faucets. They take care of that, but then you just get whatever the residual income. They are going to be on the lower end of what you're going to receive, at least here in Texas. Now, I don't know about California because I don't know what you guys are buying at, but I know that you're not getting the cap rates out there that we get here. I think you're lower cap rates because you buy at a higher price.
Exactly.
So your cap rate, the higher the price, the lower the cap rate.
Right.
That's how that equates. So,
so what are your cap rates like out there?
We're going to run anywhere between 7 and 8%, whereas you
Okay.
guys are probably running 4 to 5.
No, we're probably about closer to 2 or 3, at least in my area.
Okay.
So,
well, yeah, you are in Northern California, aren't you?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yours are lower.
Much lower.
I'm not leaving. I just dropped my pin.
Awesome.
That's the other thing is you get what what you see is what you get when it comes to me.
Yeah.
So,
that's fantastic because then people can trust you. You know, it's like, yeah, I just love that. So it's so interesting how you've talked about some things that have never been talked about on this show. So thank you for bringing those things up. So really, if you're looking over cash flow, there's a lot of different opportunities that you might consider, right? And
that's the tip of the iceberg. Because if you want to get into commercial buildings or industrial buildings, or if you want to have something that's going to be dock high, and you have trucking companies and things like that do need lease space on top of that, that's another segment of the business. So that's why I said we sit down and have a discussion on where your comfort level is and what you think you would be interested in. And then I can go through, here's some of the things that you should consider. Mm-hmm. And here's some of the details that are involved, so that you can go, oh no, I don't want to do that. And then we, okay, well, how about this? And we try something, talk about something different.
So fascinating, Suzanne. You and I need to chat.
Right.
Yeah. So how is the market in Dallas? Do you feel like it's still got a huge amount of appreciation potential, or is it now it's just sort of slowly doing its thing?
No, our market is crazy. Okay. And they are building like there's everywhere. Well, let's just take for a second. You know where the Dallas Cowboys office is? It's in Frisco, Texas. Mm-hmm. You may or may not know that.
I actually did.
But in 2011, Frisco had 6,000 people. Okay. Mm-hmm. In 2018, Frisco had increased their population size by 46% in those 8 years.
Okay. Wow.
And that's happening in every city around North Dallas. So it's just crazy how much business, how much our roads are insane right now because we can't keep up with the growth. Mm-hmm. I know the 405 and the 5 in California, they've expanded as far as they probably can. And you guys are far true. Nobody's going to compete with California traffic. That I used to live there. I know this.
I don't know. Boston does a pretty good job.
Well, I can honestly tell you that we're getting close to that level. For us, and Texans are crazy about. Oh my gosh, you can have space. Everybody wants space. Everybody wants land. It's getting harder and harder to find. You just have to keep going farther and farther and farther north. And pretty soon we're going to be connected with Oklahoma as far as Dallas is concerned. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So yeah, our growth rate is really insane. And I'm not trying to get everybody in California to come here because we don't need any more people. We have enough. Just so you know, you don't need to come. But it is crazy. Here in Austin, same thing. The tech business in Austin has just blown up. And Apple, of course, is part of that. And Dell Computers is huge down there.
So, but what I heard when I talked to people in Austin is they're saying that people are not willing to commute in Austin. So the cities around Austin are not growing quite as fast. Do you find that that's true?
I don't know. I don't do a lot down in Austin, but I do know that their roads are awful, worse than we could ever. Ours are far better than Austin.
Okay.
I'm not really sure. I just know that that's not somewhere I want to go live because I don't want to live around the university. University of Texas is there, right. And then the state capital. So, the only reason why you go to Austin is to party.
That's right. Or go to, yeah.
In my opinion, that's why you go to Austin.
Got it. So you and I, before we started the show, were talking about your build to rent strategy. And now I'm getting a clearer vision about sort of why you do that. But could you tell my audience about what that strategy is and kind of why you're doing it the way that you're doing it?
Okay. I have, there's all sorts of types of investors, and they come in at different levels of their process of creating their wealth. And a lot of my new investors are the little guys, and little guys to me means they really can only afford a couple of hundred to two, maybe $300,000 deal, and that's at least going to get them started and on the path. But I also don't want them to have a big risk factor involved. So we started, I'm also in new home construction, and I was a builder for 15 of my 42 years. So I'm actually a custom builder. So I understand that process. So I put together a deal with a developer and a builder that we are building some little new homes that we can have the investors purchase, and then they can resell them on a seller finance note at 8%. And then you're getting a pretty good return on your investment, and you've got someone in that house that has pride of ownership. So they're going to take care of that investment. And if, let's say that person kicks out, that's fine, and there's a foreclosure involved. In Texas, it's pretty quick to get a foreclosure. You can really get it finished in 60 days. So then you turn around and sell it to somebody else. Do the same thing all over again. So it's really a pretty good, solid investment, and it's a single family home. I'm also doing it with duplexes. So it just seems to be a really nice fit. You've got something that's brand new. You don't have a lot of maintenance involved. It's very easy to keep up because the people that are moving into it are the ones that are going to keep it up because they want to live there, and it's become, at some point, it's going to be theirs.
So I have a million questions around that. So let's actually do a deep dive on this strategy in extra. Does that sound okay?
Oh, sure.
Great. So we'll get about 20 more minutes on all of that because there's a lot of questions around that. That's perfect. Perfect. So could you tell everybody, Suzanne, how they can reach you?
Just email me, and I believe, do you want me to say it, or are you going to put it out, or what?
I will put it in the show notes, but go ahead and say it for people that are just listening.
Well, I have two emails. One is sj@dallasrei.com, and that's real estate investments. That's what the REI stands for. And then I have sj@homehunterexpert.com because I do both residential and commercial.
Great.
I own both of those companies. Like I said, I am a real estate broker. So the buck stops here.
Nice. I love a woman on top.
I got really sick and tired. In the commercial part of the business, I do nothing but deal with men. And, with me, it is what you see is what you get. But I can guarantee you, I am a badass woman.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go up against me, you better know what the hell you're doing, because I'm gonna take you down if that's what's necessary. Mm-hmm. And the guys, they all have really huge egos. Usually, I won't say all, but out of 100%, let's say 97 of them do. And I'm just gonna tell it to you straight. I don't pull any punches. I lay all my cards on the table. And my biggest thing that I tell any client that I work with, if it's something that I wouldn't put myself or my family into, I don't want you there either.
I love that.
This is the golden rule. I operate that way. That's my integrity level and my business integrity as well.
Nice. Thank you for that. And I know that sort of in that vein, you wanted to offer some of your time to my audience. Is that true?
Oh, absolutely. I'd be more than happy to have any kind of a conversation. No obligation, obviously. And if you have just questions about different things, I'm happy to answer them for you.
Okay, sure. Great. And so they can just contact you at one of those emails.
Just email me and I'll respond back, and then that'll have my contact information so that we can have a conversation on the phone, or you can text me or IM me. I'm pretty much all over the place. So
perfect. And it's Suzanne Johns on social media, true?
Mm-hmm. One of them is Let's Talk New Home Construction. That's on Facebook. And I'm getting ready to set up my YouTube channel with that as well, because I'm doing 10 tips in 10 days, and I'm doing video. I'm actually doing videos this afternoon. So
great. And so what is that one? What is it? Let's Talk Real Estate?
Let's Talk New Home Construction.
Let's Talk New Home Construction. Perfect.
Mhm.
And that will all be in the show notes also.
Okay.
Perfect. Good, good, good. And ladies, if you do email her, let her know that you came from Monica's
Oh,
podcast, so she kind
absolutely.
of knows
Mhm.
where you're coming from, and that'd be great. So thank you so much for that. So, Suzanne, are you ready for our 3 rapid fire questions?
Oh, sure.
Awesome. So tell us one super tip on getting started in real estate investing.
Do some research, and make sure whatever realtor you're. First of all, a lot of people think, oh my gosh, this is the DIY world and I can do it myself. I run into that with a lot of people that want to get into house flipping because they've watched it on HGTV. Don't do it. And there's also a lot of people that propose to be experts in that field and want to sell you their process or sell you their deal on how to do it and how to get involved and how to, it's just a whole lot. In fact, there's one in Southern California, and I'll leave his name unknown unless you want to ask me at a later date when it's not, published and he can sue me, that wants to charge you $50,000 to get involved in his thing so that you can, do his deal, and he doesn't do a damn thing for you. I've been to his seminars and I've found all the holes. So
Aww.
yeah, it's not a good, and unfortunately people that want to get involved in that space are easily taken advantage of. So just find someone with integrity and someone that doesn't doesn't mind answering questions and doesn't want to charge you for that, unless you're just going to really, hang out with them and, be there 24/7. That's a little different, but still, if you just have a question or two or whatever, in fact, I meet a lot of different little investors at the house and go, need to make sure you consider this, make sure you look at this, bring your contractors with you. I know how I can tell you how you can stack your subs, all of these things that need to go with that process so that you understand what you're stepping into before you do it.
Got it. Thank you for that. And then the second question is, tell us a strategy on being successful in real estate investing.
Use your head. Everybody's got a steal of a deal, but there could be a whole lot of underlying issues that you didn't really consider. Is the title clouded? Which if you don't understand what that means, you definitely need to call me. I can explain that to you.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not there's some foreclosures going on in the background, or if you have any liens on that property, maybe whoever had that property before you got involved had workers on there and they placed material men liens on it.
Mechanics liens.
Mechanics liens. They call material men liens here, but mechanics liens in California. But that's all stuff that's underneath and attached to the deed, so that if you purchase it, now you own that whatever it needs to be paid, you have to pay it. And you don't realize that. Same thing with taxes. Taxes are immediately attached to the deed or attached to the property itself. So you need to know what those are. There's just a lot of different proponents to being successful, I think, and the most important one is research. Mm-hmm. Research.
Okay. But not so much research that you don't take action.
No, I'm not saying you don't take action, but you at least need to know. Let's say if you're thinking of something in a particular subdivision or a particular area. Let's say you do want a car wash on the corner of 405 and something. Go down there and sit for a half a day and watch the traffic, so that when somebody tells you that I have 40,000 cars coming by on my report, and you've been sitting there for 4 hours and you saw, maybe 10 or 5, something fishy about that. Mm-hmm. So you can use a little bit of common sense yourself. That's all. Strategy in real estate, a lot of it has to do with common sense and just being realistic about. Don't hope what it's going to be. You need a little bit of proof on what it's going to be.
Yeah, hope is not a good strategy for the future.
Hope is never a good strategy, and everybody can make things sound, oh, it's so good. I've always told people, never bet on the come. And that's just like when you go to Vegas, you don't bet on the come. Mm-hmm. You don't do it in real estate either.
Got it. Okay. What would you say?
Unless you're Warren Buffett, and that's different, He's
Well,
got the money to lose. If he were to bet on the come and he missed, it's okay. You bet on the come and you miss, it could be everything you have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's got a little bit deeper pockets than most of us.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Awesome. So tell us one daily practice that you would say contributes to your personal success.
The very first thing I do is I have a lot of real estate publications, and I make sure that I keep up on what's going on in the market. And you can even Google, I don't know, CNN and MSNBC, or the local California real estate is going to have their website's going to have whatever local is going on. They're probably going to have something having to do with any state legislature or something that's happening that's regarding real estate is going to be on there. And I just try to make sure that I keep up with who's coming to town. We have a lot of industry coming here, so I want to know where they are and where they're going, so I know whether or not it's going to have an impact on the businesses around that, so that maybe it's a good idea to be on the front end of where I know they're going. And if I don't know where they're going, then I find a developer that does know where they're going. And you can also call the city. I just spend a lot of time, I don't say a lot, I might spend a half an hour every morning just checking on something maybe I didn't know was coming. And we I don't know if you guys probably have it. We have our local TV stations. You can stream them. And so I can usually Google in the stream anything having to do with Dallas real estate, or you can probably do it for where you guys are. And then it'll pull up any article or any broadcast that had to do with it from the last day.
Oh, I love that. So it's real time.
Yes, it's real time. And so that really helps, because I know they're ahead of me, obviously. And if there's something coming on, I can at least go, oh, I need to know about that. Because we found out that I knew Google was coming down here to they built a billion square foot warehouse south of town in what's called Midlothian. And I had some developers that had some property down there that was real close to what I had been told they were coming into. And I picked that up on a stream from the from DFW's Channel 5 News.
Mm-hmm. So did you end up building and taking advantage of that?
I didn't build, but I had two developers. We were able to buy some of the land where we knew Google was going to go. Mm-hmm. So we were able to connect them with that. And then Google bought their land, and they made like an overnight profit. It was pretty good.
Ooh, yay. So cool.
Google wanted to buy, it was right in their path, so they had to buy it if they wanted to.
Got it. Very cool. Well, this has been an awesome conversation so far. Thank you so much for what you've shared with the ladies on this portion of the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. And ladies, thank you for joining Suzanne and I for this portion of the show. We've got more. We're going to be doing a deep dive on the build to rent strategy and sort of all of those pieces that are involved with that. And so if you want to be a part of that and you're not yet subscribed to Extra, go to realestateinvestingforwomenextra.com and you can see the rest of the conversation. And for those of you that are already subscribed, stay tuned. We've got more for you. For those of you that are leaving us now, thank you so much for joining Suzanne and I. I look forward to seeing you on the next show. And until then, remember, goals without action are just dreams. So get out there, take action, and create the life your heart deeply desires. I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you'd like to download my favorite investing strategy, just go to blissfulinvestor.com. See you next time.